What's going on YouTube? It is Repulse back in another video. In today's video we have our match review for Chelsea 2 Fulham nil. Predicted the score yesterday, did not predict the scores. I said Delap would score and I said Cucurella would score. Obviously Delap got injured in around the 13th minute and then Cucurella just didn't bag his goal. But I didn't really have chances. I think he was playing in the left center half and Gusto was playing more advanced. So there was that. Got the lineup wrong. I thought Reece James would come back into the fold, but he didn't. It was Gusto that did end up playing right back. Reece James to get subbed on later in the match though. After the result was put away. But Chelsea won 2-0. Little bit of a controversial match. Fulham had a goal disallowed that people don't think should have been disallowed. Personally, I think it should have been disallowed. He stomped on Chalobah's foot. Obviously, people are saying, where else would he put his foot? It's not about the intent. It's the fact that he stood on his foot. Letter by law, that's a foul. It's going to get called every time if that happened in the box. If it was Chalobah that stomped on his foot in the box, that's a penalty. People are going to be crying out for a penalty for Fulham, so I think it's rightful that, that is a foul. João Pedro goal comes from a corner. Enzo Fernandez plays the ball in pretty deep into the box. João Pedro is able to just get onto it, latch on, heads it into the bottom right corner for the penalty. João Pedro with good bits of play in the box, and then Caicedo makes a good recovery tackle, plays it out to Chalobah. Chalobah attempts to cross it in the box, and then I believe it was Sessegnon who had his hand very high, and it was called a penalty. Again, controversial for some reason. I don't think it is controversial. He made himself bigger. Um, and Chalobah was trying to get the ball into the box. His arm is what stopped the ball from going into the box, and it was in an unnatural position, so I think that's rightly justified to be a penalty. People are saying João Pedro handed the ball beforehand, but he was in close proximity, and I don't think it was his hand. I think it was his chest, but even if it was his hand, it was too close to really penalize him for that. So I do think it was rightful for that to be a penalty. But yeah, João Pedro gives the penalty to Enzo Fernandez. Enzo Fernandez slots it away down the middle, beats Bernd Leno, who dives to his right-hand side on the TV, left-hand side. Gets a little bit of a foot to it, but ends up going in the back of the net to make it 2-0, and then Chelsea are on cruise control for the rest of the match. Yeah, looked decent in the second half. The first half was very, very slow. Rodrigo Muniz obviously had that goal disallowed. And Chelsea didn't really have any big chances until João Pedro scored at the very end of the half. I think it was the last kick of the half, actually, or well, last header of the first half that João Pedro um, scored his goal with. But put us 1-0 up, headed into halftime, and then Enzo Fernandez makes it 2-0 shortly after halftime resumes, and that's it. Chelsea win 2-0, beat Fulham. And let's talk about the good in this match. We have a decent amount of good. I thought Gusto was very bright down that right hand side. I thought defended well. I thought attacked well. I thought his link up play with Esteval was pretty good. A little quiet day for Esteval, but Gusto I thought was very good defensively as well as moving into those channels offensively. Played a little bit of the 10, played a little bit of the right wing. Pretty much intermixing with that front line that we know all can intermix. But yeah, I thought Gusto was solid today. Caicedo, usual 8.5, 9 out of 10. Really important interceptions, really important blocks today. Thought he was tremendous in this game today. Playing passes out pretty well as well, but I think defensively he was probably our best defender, even at that midfield position today, so fair play to him for that. Definitely gets a 9 out of 10 in my books. Gusto, I'd say 8.5 out of 10 as well. João Pedro bags a goal, so obviously going to be here in the good. You can see Enzo Fernandez isn't here. I'll touch on that in the coming categories, but yeah, João Pedro was good today. Did not play striker, played in the 10. I know you see the advanced position, but I cut off Delap from this screenshot because Delap got injured. I think it's his hamstring he came up on in the 13th minute. Got subbed off for Tyreek George. But João Pedro still stayed in the 10. Tyreek George went to the number 9 spot. And João Pedro looked good there. He was able to link up play very well, using back heels, flicks, all those things, turns, spins, playing the balls out wide. Yeah, just looked really, really good today. Was the only player that was pretty much able to break down Fulham's defensive structure as well as tossing out Bio, which we'll talk about soon. But yeah, bags his goal. That's 2 goals in 3 games in the Premier League now. Looks to be a tremendous signing as of now. Started him on my FPL team, so thank you for that, as well as Robert Sanchez. I get my clean sheet points. So yeah, thanks Rob, and thanks João Pedro for the goal, because I think that's around like 14 points already, and then we'll see if they get extra. I do think João Pedro will, obviously for his goal, and maybe Robert Sanchez for getting the clean sheet, but yet to be seen. João Pedro looked great today. Robert Sanchez also looked good today. Didn't really get tested all too much besides the goal, which was an 18-year-old kid from Fulham, King. Obviously got disallowed. Rodrigo Muniz, who played the ball in, stomped on Chalava's foot. Um, Again, rightful foul. Robert Sanchez didn't really have much to do. Just wrong-footed him pretty much. Not really anything he could do there. But yeah, I thought other than that, he was very good. Tried to start attacks today. Trying to get the players up for it because obviously the fans were not doing anything, and that's one thing I need to talk on is the support from the fans. It's just not there. That place is a library. It seems like the Fulham fans were 10 times louder than we were, and they're only a small section of the stadium. The only times where we cheer is when we get a goal or we're close to finishing a chance, and then all we do is clap for 2 seconds, and then we're done. So, fair play to Robert Sanchez for trying to get the players up to it by, starting counterattacks and trying to get the fans involved in the game by doing so. Thought he was good today. Thought, didn't really make any mental errors or anything like that. So, fair play to him for that. Definitely think, he deserves to be in the good category. On Tossin, thought he linked up play very well. Again, our best center half at passing the ball besides Levi Cole, who's obviously out with an ACL injury. But yeah, Tassa was able to pass through the channels very well. Also defended well, very good interceptions, very good with with his head. Um, thought just had a very very solid overall day, like an 8 out of 10. I'd say everyone here was 8 out of 10 or above. Yeah, I thought Tossin was great defensively, able to track back well, able to play passes through the channels well. I think he's going to be very important this season for us progressing the ball. I thought he was tremendous today, to be honest. Our best center half by far. So yeah, fair play to Tossin for that performance. I thought he was very very good in today's game. Against his former side, obviously we signed Tossin from Fulham on a free. Out of contract there, ends up going to Chelsea. And now he's really excelling in that role that he has. This ball playing center half role that we desperately need because Levi Cole is injured and he seems to suit the bill pretty much perfectly fine. So, fair play to Tossin for that. Really stepped in and done a job in the last 2 games that he's played. So yeah, there's that. Not a coincidence that we won both games that Tossin was in the fold, and then the game against Crystal Palace that he did not play in. We did not win. So there's that. But yeah, very very important. The way we play was able to break down the channels very well. So cheers to Tossin on that. Really good performance. And then on Cucurella, just as usual, 8.5, 9 out of 10. Very very good defensively. Didn't really add much going forward because his role was a left center back today, but when he was tasked defensively against Traore and then Owobi, he was absolutely tremendous today. So fair play to Cucurella for that performance today. I definitely think it went under the radar because he didn't do anything flashy or anything like that. But I don't think he got beat once. Just really really solid defensively from Cucurella today. So fair play to him for that performance. Definitely think it was an 8.5 out of 10. Just really really solid defensively. Did not let anyone by and also linked to play with the left winger, which was Pedro Neto today very well. So there's that on Cucurella, and that's that on the good category. You see 6 out of the 11 make it, so not bad by any means. And we're only taking pretty much a margin of 10 here because Liam Delap did go out injured. So 6 out of 10, 60% of players having a good performance is, likely means a result is in your favor. Especially when the guy that bagged the second goal is not even in here. But moving on to the mid, we'll talk about him first. Is Enzo Fernandez, who had an assist and a goal today. The assist came from the corner, and then the goal came from a penalty spot. The reason why he's in the mid is because that first half was absolutely abysmal. We definitely could have gone 1-0 up if he just knew how to play through transition, but just absolutely fumbled that. Wasn't playing passes the way he usually does in that first half. Just really, really didn't have it together in that first half. Stormed down the tunnel. He was frustrated with his own performance, and that's why he stormed down the tunnel, gave the captain's armband up to someone else, and then took it back, heading out the tunnel to halftime. Able to get a penalty. João Pedro did give him the penalty. The ball was in João Pedro's hands. He hands it to Enzo Fernandez. Enzo Fernandez slots it away after getting an assist from a corner that João Pedro actually headed away. So, Enzo Fernandez gets a goal and gets an assist. So, in retrospect, it's not a bad performance at all. But if you were watching on the pitch, he definitely did not deserve a goal or an assist today. He probably should have been subbed off at halftime. But, fair play to for Maresca to stick with him. Definitely started flowing after he got that goal and that confidence in his system. But, just looked completely out of it to begin the game. But um, gets a goal and assist. Not a bad performance by any means. So, fair play to Enzo Fernandez for really stepping it up throughout the game. Just started very, very poor. Probably the worst player on the pitch to begin the game. But ends it very well, ends it with the goal and assist, and then, hopefully some confidence headed into the next game. Pedro Neto here, I just didn't think he offered enough moving forward, as well as Esteval. I think they're very, very similar in their performances today. I thought Fulham's defensive line was very, very structured, very solid, so it was difficult for Neto and Esteval to really break through. Esteval, I thought, definitely could have got a goal today, but, slipped while he attempted a shot, and it was a very good save by Burnt Lino. But yeah, I think Neto and Esteval pretty much played to their ceilings in terms of the matchup against Fulham today. I thought Fulham were very, very structured and solid defensively, so it was really hard for Neto and Esteval to break them down. I thought Neto was better than Esteval today, but obviously I'm not really going to compare and contrast the players because they're two very different players. I thought Neto just beat his man more than Esteval did, but Esteval also beat his man a couple times and started probably our biggest chance of the first half, but was intercepted by a Fulham defender. So both had decent games retrospectively, but just not good enough to put them in the good category where everyone else was 8 out of 10 and above. But I thought they were both solid today, just not really excellent in anything because of the way Fulham play. But nothing against them. Decent performance for both of them. Not gonna harm them on that. It's just the way Fulham play. It really takes the wingers out the game, and we saw that in the way that Neto and Esteval played today. Although they did not play bad at all when they received the ball. Lastly, Chalaba, I thought that first half was very slow. I thought the first half overall was very slow for most of the squad, so there's that. But for Chalaba, especially, I thought definitely could have stepped it up defensively in that first half. Did a lot in the second half. Got twice better than he did in the first half. So very solid performance there. You can see Footmom gave him a 7.9, but I'd say 7.5, 7 for Chalaba. That he was good today, but just not good enough to be in the good category when you're going up against 8 and 8.5 out of 10. That was just a very solid performance by Chelsea overall. The players in the mid category had solid performances of their own. Chalaba included. Thought intercepted the ball decently. I think Towson just stole the show from that center back position, but Chalaba was not bad defensively by any means. Had some decent interceptions in there, and vital interventions. So fair play to Chalaba for that performance. Fair play to all four of these for their performances. I thought they were all decent in the game today. I just thought the six players that we touched on beforehand were very, very good in today's game. But these players are not bad by any means. I think just a little bit to improve on and build upon heading into the next game where we have Brentford away, I believe. But yeah, there's that on Esteban, Chalaba, Fernandez, and Neto. Solid performances, all 7.5 out of 10. Just not good enough to be at that 8.5, 9.5 out of 10 that these players got. But you know, moving on to the ugly category, we have two players here. Gittins, I just put ugly because didn't really see him receive the ball, and the only time I really saw him on screen, he committed a foul on the right back. Yeah, just didn't really offer much after coming on. A little bit of a disappointing performance there. I wouldn't say it was an ugly performance, just disappointing. Didn't really have any impact, any say on the game at all once he did come on. Had a shot that went out for a corner, but that was pretty much it. That's the only time I really saw him receive the ball. Just hope he really starts to kick on sometime soon because I know he is a very talented winger. I know he's very good at taking on his man. It just seems like he's not settled into the Chelsea play yet. He's not settled into the way that the Premier League is quite yet, but hopefully he starts settling soon because he does have all the talent in the world. It's just it wasn't put together today by any means, and he did not get any real chance to prove that he does have talent today. He didn't receive the ball at all. Tyreek George came on for the lap injured. You can see there at the 14th minute mark. Just again, same thing with Jamie Gittins. Didn't really offer anything. Had a nice turn, but that's the only thing I remember from his game today was one turn. And if you're playing for pretty much 67 minutes, 6, 7 minutes. Yeah, I'd hope you offer a little bit more in today's match, but Tyreek George did not do that. Just really thought he ghosted today. I don't know if that's his head not being in it due to the move to, Roma almost being completed or anything like that, but, just didn't really seem up for the match today. So, there's that on Tyreek George. Not really good performances by either. Gittins, I'd say, was a little bit better than George, just didn't really have the opportunity to show it. But George, had ample amounts of time to really do something out there, just didn't really end up doing anything. So that's why he gets sticked in the ugly category, and then Gatens gets sticked in the ugly category because he didn't put himself in a position to really prove the talent that he hasn't received the ball. But yeah, that is everything. That is the match review on Chelsea 2, Fulham nil. As you can see here, again, João Pedro scores with a header in the 54th minute of the first half, 45 plus 9, and then Enzo Fernandez shortly after halftime makes it 2-0. And then Chelsea cruise control through the rest of the match. So now we're on 7 points. We're top of the table right now, obviously game in hand to everyone else. First game of the weekend. There's no Friday Night Football yesterday. There was a championship match where Leicester beat Birmingham 2-0. But no Premier League yesterday. Everything kicks off pretty much now. It's 9 a.m. here, so that's pretty much when everything kicks off for the rest of the weekend. I believe that's 3 p.m. over there for y'all. 9 to 10, 10 to 11, 11 to 12, 12 to 1, 1 to 2. Yeah, 3 p.m. over there for y'all. Everything's kicking off right now, so hope you all enjoy the football. If you did enjoy this video, please be sure to like and subscribe. And as always, it's Repulse, and I'm out. Peace. Hope you enjoyed. See you later. Goodbye.